All right. My dear fellow listeners and viewers, good evening once again, and welcome to another edition of the Dr. Narine Dat Show. For those of you who have watched us and listened to us in the past, will know that there are a few different ways to do so. You can listen to us on a regular dial, that's the radio, 102.7 CKMS FM. You can listen to us on Rogers digital cable for those of you who have the Rogers digital box. And of course, we're also live stream our interview here, so by all means, do take the opportunity to share a page. The whole purpose of the Dr. Narine Dat Show is to create a safe space for positive energy and mutual respect. Tonight, our guest is Satish Udairam, who we have had on our earlier show. Let's chit chat with Narine Dat. So, Satish, welcome to the show. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, Narine. Thanks for asking.
All right. So what we'll do, you know the drill. You've seen the show before. We'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, just very basic, just general pieces of you. And then we will dive into specific pieces. And hopefully by the end of the interview, we'll also have the opportunity to showcase some of your pieces in terms of your musical pieces. But for now, just generally introduce yourself and we'll take it from there. Where you were born, school you attended, and stuff of that sort? Not a whole lot.
Okay. Well, for those who doesn't know me, well, my name is Satish Udairam. I was born in Guyana, um, Berbice, Black Bush Pola in specific. I went to school in Rosal. Uh, I went to Les Violen Primary School before I went to school in Rosal. I migrated to the US 93. And now I'm living in Florida.
Oh wow. Yeah, so we have something in common there. I didn't realize you migrated in 1993. I came to Canada in 1993 as well.
Yeah, I came 93.
All right. All right. So thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
So I mean, we have chatted before. It's been quite a while now. So we want to kind of get back to some basics before we get into the meat of things. You were born and raised in Berbice, Guyana, and Blackbush Polda, as you mentioned it. I mean, those times it was very different, right? No lights, using the hand lamps, very muddy, no proper streets, all of these things. My question to you, let me get right into it. What was your journey like doing doing the things that people do, going to school, get up in the morning, find a way to get where you need to go and so forth. Tell me all about
You know, I said it a million times, and I just love to say it over and over. This is something I am so much happy, so much joy to explain or
it.
tell someone where I'm from, where I grew
Mhm,
up, and how I grew up.
mhm.
I
Absolutely.
grew up on in a boathouse that has holes on it.
Mhm,
It, like you mentioned, muddy.
mhm,
Before I took the car to school, I have my sneakers in my hand, and then when I
mhm,
get to a clean place, a clean
mhm,
area where I could
mhm,
wash my feet before I put it on, then I go on the bus. To go to the shop, I go with a horse or a donkey
mhm.
sometimes. You can't even ride your bicycle because it's farming. The roads are the dams are all muddy. It's like you never know that there's gonna be a different
Mhm,
life ahead of what you were having, and then now
mhm,
it's here, and that's
mhm.
why that becomes so much of a memory,
Yeah.
so much of you want to keep on talking about it,
Mhm,
tell your friends, tell your family, like you just said. It wasn't fun, but we had to survive. We had to get there. We have to, whatever it takes.
yeah,
We have to climb that ladder, or we have to keep on moving. I,
for
I
sure.
remember going to school. You share lunch with
Mhm,
the well, I'll pretty much say there is always an unfortunate one, and we share lunch lunchtime. Well, where we used to live, it's not too far from the school, so I would some one of my friends, hey, can I go home with you for lunch? And then those days was the best days, man. It was just the other day I was talking to somebody, and he did mention to me, I remember the last day I went to you guys' house, I eat squash and rice before I come to the United States of America. That was 30 some years ago. Those days were the best days, man.
yeah.
But let me say this, Blackbush,
Mhm,
where I grew up, is not like that anymore. It totally different now. It's totally different.
yeah. So thank you for that. So you mentioned about using horses and whatnot in your earlier days. Is it fair to say that's where you started, your love and passion for the horse? Because you
Of
still do
course, of
that, right?
course, of course, of course. Of course, my love and passion started there. And when you bring up horses, it's so much I could tell about horses, and I wouldn't even stop. Like stories like the first horse that I ever see run in America. What did space the horse ran? The fastest horse ever run. How fast he ran.
Mm,
Those things they're on the tip of my finger, man. Yeah, I grew up with horses. I grew up around horses, uh, animal in
mhm,
general. We had cows and all that stuff. Yep.
So looking back at your journey growing up, in Blackbush Pola, so to speak, what would you say are some of your most memorable, time there, where you can look back and say, look,
There's one thing I
like,
wouldn't forget.
mhm,
I mean, it's not
mhm,
a memorable thing, but now
mhm,
we're on this topic. Let
mhm,
me just mention this if you don't mind.
mhm.
The day
Absolutely.
I left Guyana, I remember said to all my friends, them, you know, I was a young man, just become a young man, and I told them, listen, man, you guys gotta watch the news or buy the newspaper. I'm gonna go win the Kentucky Derby, man.
Mhm,
You leave and you dream big.
mhm,
I'm gonna go win the Kentucky Derby. Yes, my journey here was to become a jockey. I did try. I give it my best.
mhm,
I was almost there, and I got thrown off because of papers. It was a long time ago. It wasn't.
mhm, mhm,
I didn't have the right documents to ride horses. What I
mhm.
came with wasn't enough, and then when I do have it, it was too late. So I never gave up on my dreams, not because I didn't get the right horse. I become a horse owner. I still there. I still loving everything about it. I didn't walk away just because that part didn't come true. I'm a fighter, man.
That's good. That's awesome. So thank you so much for sharing that. So obviously you've left, your country, Guyana, and you've moved to the States. What was the journey like for you? Because total different places, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially those times, it was, I want to hear from you. What was it like to
So my first
walk in
job,
mud?
my first job was, well, first when I got here, I asked for
Mm,
a sandwich at Burger King, and
mhm,
I just started sipping a little bit of beer and all that stuff when I leave. So I asked my uncle to buy me a Budweiser. Those are the first two things I asked for when I got here: Burger King sandwich and a Budweiser. My first job was I had to go to Manhattan like 3 days after I arrived in the US, and I have to go sell Walkman.
mhm.
You know the Walkman?
Yeah, yeah, oh yes, oh yes.
Yeah,
I still found an old one, by the way. It's still working.
yeah. So I went to this company. They gave me a suitcase full of Walkman, well, a bag, and they teach you how to go walk in these stores, these
Mhm.
gas station, and where you see a crowd of people and say, "Hey, you want to buy a Walkman?" You know. So that was my first job. I went there. I didn't sell one Walkman. I took the train. I come back home. I cry a little bit. Cried to my uncle, and I said, "I want to go home. I can't sell Walkman. I wouldn't be able to sell Walkman." And he's like,
Mhm.
"Okay, we're gonna find you a next job." It's different, man. It's totally different. Well, time fix everything. After that, I fall into a mechanic shop where I learn a little bit to fix cars and power steering units and rack and pinion, and I built some confidence there. A lot of confidence because I had a job, and it wasn't paying that much, but what? Come Friday, I got a paycheck, and I
Mhm.
started to see things different. But yeah, the first couple of days, I wanted to go back home, and just not me. I know a lot of people do.
Yeah. It's not uncommon because keep in mind, home is home, right? You build relationship, you have your own little circle, your family, your friends, and so forth. And as much as people hear good things when it comes to America and Canada and whatnot, which is not a bad thing per se, but leaving all of that behind can be hard, right? Because you're starting from scratch again
Yeah.
and whatnot. And study shows that even though people will get to a certain point in life and they will regain, and whatnot, it will never get to that level again. I'm talking about the other pieces, not the material pieces. I'm talking about, the psychological pieces and the
Yep.
things that you lost. Because all of us, even though we are in better shape now in terms of, academics and finances and all of these
Yep.
basic pieces, at the end of the day, we still lost, great pieces that we had there, and that could be simple things like the friendship, the people that we grew up with, and all of that, right? So thank you so much for sharing that. But
You're welcome.
here you are, you're a father, and whatnot. And apart from your day job per se, you also have the passion for music, right? We talk
Yes,
about this,
yes, yes, I do.
quite a few times. We've kind of met as well too, and things of that sort. So tell me a little bit about that as well too. Where did this all came from? How it got started? All of that. Your love for music in general.
All right, I went back Blackbush a couple of months ago. I took my mom and I ran into one of my childhood friends where we used to go to school together, and he said to me, well, not me, my mom was there, so we were talking, and he said to my mom, you know this chap, since he been small, he like sing,
Mhm.
weird. The guy is telling my mom, I guess that thing,
Mhm.
the music was inside of, was
Mhm.
nagging in my head all the time.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I after I came to the US, few years after I got settled in, I don't have much to do. On the weekends I hang out with my uncle. So when I by myself, I find myself uh, writing, like doing a lot of writing, trying to put things together. And that's how I
Mhm.
started the music thing. I find myself writing, listen to song and try to rewrite it in my own way, and that's how I started. And I went to I actually sell some lyrics back in the days, late 90s. I used to sell lyrics, and I ran into to this producer in New York, and I actually took somebody to record a song that I had helped that person with, and then
Mhm.
the guy was like, "Hey man, you can try something, you can try something on your own." And there goes the opportunity I was waiting for, um, to uh, to get to record my own song, and I did it.
Awesome. Obviously, you do it for passion. You
Yes,
do it
yes,
for
of
you
course.
because for
I
hobby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do music because I it helps me, and it's something that I started and I wouldn't stop, but I wouldn't put aside, what I'm doing now when it comes to my job. Invest in a couple things, what I'm doing in Guyana. I am going to, I came a long way, and I achieve a lot that I had wanted to achieve. I have a few more steps, I have a few more ladder to climb, and I'm pushing myself to just climb those couple ladder more, and once I did that, I can take music as a full-time job then. Well, I wouldn't say job, because I don't do music for the sake of money, and if I do receive any kind of money through music, I give it to charity. It's not that I don't want the money. That's how I feel. That's my thing.
All right. I mean, we're all in different stages in life and whatnot. So you have a job. You're doing this more as a hobby. That's the word I was looking for. More as a hobby. So what we'll
Yeah.
do, I've randomly selected a song of yours. We are gonna feature it when we come back. You have kind of shared you are gonna reflect back on it as to why you've decided to, come up with that concept, things of that nature. All right.
Yep. John from Queens, big up yourself, man.
Mm.
Charlie Tech Merch, big up, big up. Shanta. Yo.
If I plan a puja, say them go do a yajnan. When I go a market, them eyes in me basket. If I plan a puja, say them go do a yajna. And when I go a market, them eyes in me basket. I don't know why they living so. 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 It's so true, right?
All right, you know that song based on a true story, right?
Well, you will tell us now. So I'm now giving you that opportunity to reflect back on that. So why that concept or why that part of the song? Go ahead. But I hear what you're saying.
Well, the story come up about my uncle. I'm not gonna call nobody name here. He and his neighbor. Um, the story was about not exactly, but you know, when you write a song, you have to make it work. But yeah, it was the kind of life he had with his neighbor. He buy a Mustang. He neighbor went and buy a Mustang too. You know, a better Mustang.
Yeah.
And he said he went to temple and do a little puja by the temple. A couple of weeks after, he see Kolka invitation from a neighbor they doing yachna. So basically, the song based on a little.
Yeah. And you know, even though you'll be having a little bit of laugh about it, in the reality is society operate that way, right?
Yeah, man.
Not uncommon. So not surprising in any shape or form. We live in that kind of world where people want to be better than other people and so forth, right? So
Yep.
not shocking, and thanks for being open to share that here.
I mean, I don't, I don't know if, but like, I'm a kind of guy like this. I believe in, instead of, unquote, don't hold this against me. Nobody is just the way of how I feel and how I do things to get, I feel this is the way I do things, and this is how I get blessed. Instead of me call the whole village and cook all these food and feed the people and do a puja and ask pandit or whoever to however way you do it for blessing, I would just take that same money and give it to somebody who are suffering, and that money can help that person by if that person is dragging, and I take the money and buy a wheelchair for that person, or if it's sleeping in a house and the house is leaking and he's sleeping on a wet bed, I feel no matter how bad is that person or how much bad things that person have done, I don't know that. God know that. I honestly feel I will get the same blessing or even better blessing or more blessing than you getting than doing a puja and call the whole village. But that's just how I could be wrong.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought it up. And keep in mind, I want to remind you that this is a safe space here. You could be yourself. This is not, using the platform to condemn anybody. You're just sharing, your view on things and whatnot. But I have to tell you, you brought up an excellent point here. And so, very recently, I was kind of reflecting back on my own journey as to why I go, to temples less. I don't go as often. I'm a former Hindu priest, by the way, if you didn't know.
No,
So
I didn't know.
yeah. So I grew up going to temples, and I did puja. Speaking of puja, for the poor people, never charge a penny. I in fact did a wedding at the age of 14, things of that sort. But I learned very quickly that whatever I'm learning, whatever I was learning, going to the temple, I was a big fan of Prakashika science or whatever I was learning. I find that it was so important for me to kind of execute those learnings, right? I used to read the Bhagavad Gita a lot and so forth, and I still do. And so for me, in order for me to execute the learnings from the Bhagavad Gita, I cannot go to the temple. I think the temples are really good places to go. But what do you do when you have lots of knowledge now and you want to put all of that in practice? So for me, I like what you said. And again, we are just having a conversation here. So I, I don't want people to send me an email after when we're done here.
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
And
Everybody have their
yes,
own thing and they have their own
for
reason
sure.
why and opinion. I mean, and that's how I feel. And another
Yeah.
thing, it
Yeah, go
don't
on, go
matter
ahead. You go ahead.
a pandit. Sorry,
Yeah, no, you
pandit,
go ahead.
yeah, a pandit priest told me this, and he's an old man. He passed away now. When he told me this, was very old. He says, if you could just give your parents the same money you're gonna take and buy Parsad, you will get the same lesson. If your parents them needed it and they are in need of money, and you are using it, because God wouldn't want that part sad. You just, like I said, God wouldn't. God would probably say, feel like, okay, you give it to your parents. You will get more blessing. That's how I feel, man.
Oh yes, for sure. And you continue to serve your own purpose, right? We all have a purpose here for sure. And so I like how you're thinking, by the way. And to finish off my story though, even though you're the guest on the show here, I want to finish off my story because it aligns perfectly with what you said. So over the years, me going to the temples and so forth, I learned one thing. I learned to see God in everybody. So it does not matter if it's a beggar man on the street. It does not matter if it's a big politician out there and so forth. I do not look at them. I don't look down upon the beggar, for example. In fact, because of a homeless man, I became a vegetarian. And you're thinking along the right line, right? So the people who are going to temples and so on is not a bad thing. So we want to get it clear. At the end of the day, we have choices in life,
Yeah, we have choices.
right? And I've also learned to create temples anywhere. So for me, I wouldn't drive 3 hours to pray. Like for me, I'm thinking that's where God is. Like I see God in everybody, and I think if God is all powerful, he's supposed to be everywhere, right? So thank you for that. But anyways, it's good. Good. You see why we do this show. We learn
I
so
mean,
much.
we could do, I'm sure some people do exactly what I'm doing and
Yeah.
also do their puja. I
Of
mean,
course, of course.
ain't
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that.
Mhm. For
Ain't nothing
sure.
wrong with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely, for sure. And thank you. I really appreciate you doing that. And so I mean you mentioned, we'll get back to the musical piece and things of that sort. When you were introducing yourself and when you were speaking, you mentioned something about lyrics. Did I heard you correctly where you kind of had other folks use your lyrics, whether that be you give it to them, whether that be you sell it
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
whatnot? Yeah.
I did. I sold some lyrics. I don't own the copyrights for it anymore. But yeah, that's how it got started.
That's awesome. Good stuff.
And I
So
still do help a lot of artists in music wise. I still help them with lyrics and a lot of stuff. And uh, but that's how life goes. Once these guys, I'll say it straight up, once they get there, they forget how they get there.
but society is like that, right?
Yeah, they
Society is
forget
like
how they
that.
get.
So what is your niche when it comes to the musical piece? Because keep in mind it is very broad. So some people cannot write at all, which is fine. They don't have that skill set. Some people can play music, some people can sing really well. All of these types of things. What would you say is your niche? Is it the writing aspect of it? Is it
I
like
think it's the
the
writing aspect.
Mhm.
And then when I write it, I have so much song, Narine. I have, oh God, I must have about 20, 30 songs sitting that I already, composed. It's just have to record and let it go. I don't have time. I have one. I'm working on it. It's been a year now. I'm working on.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, I got some info on it this morning that some of the work get done on it. So hopefully I release it in a little bit. I actually shoot the video already for it.
Oh,
And
really?
it's a
Oh,
story again. It's another story. It's like a little story. Like I mentioned to you a couple times that I try to put my songs them into a story.
excellent. Good. So, even though you mentioned earlier that, your main focus is to kind of climb a few more ladders. It looks like you're working in a few personal things, which is awesome, which is great. I love those stories. It looks like you're not necessarily putting your musical piece on hold. You're still making sure
Yes,
that you're doing
yes,
business, music,
yes,
which is
yes.
awesome,
Yeah.
right?
But like I said, when I finish with this couple ladder more that I
Yeah, yeah.
steps more on this ladder, I am gonna do a little bit
Do
more
more. You
when it
can do
comes to
more.
music. Yeah, when it comes to music,
Absolutely.
I am going to
Absolutely.
I I got a recording studio I bought for myself over 3 years now and sitting in a box.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
And I'm
that's
planning.
mhm.
I'm planning to go back to Guyana in a couple of years to actually live.
Sorry, you want to repeat that Guyana piece?
I says I'm planning to go back to Guyana in a few years to actually live in Guyana. So I once
Spending
I
more
get
time there,
back to
yeah.
Guyana, I'm probably going to settle down with, like I said, the little ladder more that I need to be climb, and I'm going to focus a little bit more, spend more time into music, and try to eliminate some of those songs that filling up the book I already, because I only probably have about 2 or 3 pages more left.
Okay. No, it's awesome. You know, it's nice when folks, have plans in life, when people have goals and dreams and plan in life. It's very exciting. I'm very happy. Thank you for sharing what you shared here. And do know we wish you all the best with that. That's a good thing. Let me quickly say hello to a few people so that way you can draw your breath there a little bit as well too. I want to give a
Okay.
special hello to John from Queens. Thank you so much. And John from Queens is saying to us here that he has a couple of your songs on his YouTube channel. So, folks, John from Queens is no stranger to us. So make sure you check out his YouTube channel, where you can have all of these songs that we were playing and so much more. I want to say hello to Stella as well, too. Thank you so much for taking a sneak peek. And Navin Singh, that name rings a bell. You know Navin? Like they're less
Yep.
than us, a
Big up
common
yourself,
name.
Marvin. Big up yourself, bro.
Okay. There are quite a few Navin as well, too, common name, but so okay. So okay, I think the name rings a bell too. There's a good chance we're connected. My apologies. It's
Yeah.
hard
He's
for
a
us to
good
keep up
he's
with.
a good musician as well. I know
Yeah,
him
yeah,
from a long
yeah,
time.
yeah,
Way
yeah,
back
yeah.
in the
That's
day.
what I thought. The name rings a bell. My apologies, Navin. But good that you're here. I can tell you're here to support Satish, which is awesome, which is a good thing. I'm not able to see everybody all at once here, which is fine, but do know that we appreciate you folks. If you're watching and listening to us for the very first time, keep in mind there are a few different ways to do so. You can do so on the regular dial 102.7 CKMS FM. That's only in Canada here, and 946 on Rogers digital cable. And of course, we are live streaming the interview here. So by all means, take the opportunity to hit that share button. We are here usually once a week, and the whole idea, obviously, behind this show is to create a safe space for positive energy and mutual respect, nothing more than that. So, Satish, I will feature another song of yours, and when we come back, I want you to also debrief on that, right? It looks like
Okay.
you have your own niche in terms of putting together a story. So we'll hear of that story when we come back.
Okay.
It is very sad, boy, that we are apart.
Being apart, girl, only breaks my heart. If I cannot get you, then I will fall apart.
Boy, you know I love you from my heart. It is very sad, boy, that we are apart.
I met your father by the local bar. After a few shots, he called me son-in-law. I met your father by the local sad, girl, that we are apart.
All right, so let me just pause that there. So basically, actually I've listened to that song before, obviously. But I have to say that song was nicely done. I have to say, and if that girl, let's give her credit as well too.
Yeah,
Let
yeah,
me
we have to give her
look
some
back
credit
at her
because
name.
she helped me put some of the
Shalita
lyrics together
Kemraj.
in that song. She helped me put some
Yeah,
of the lyrics together.
Shalita Kemraj.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I randomly select the song. When you think about it, I'm serious about this. When you really think about it, this song is nicely done. I want you to know that.
Thank you.
And even she really adds some good like the flavor. She has a good voice as well. So I find that it was a nice combination, nice story as well. Just by listening, I find that it was kind of like part of the interview, to tell you the truth, because like this, it is a story being told within that. It's not just like a jump up music, if you know what I mean, just
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
entertainment purposes.
And that
Um,
was the idea of when I put in the lyrics together for that song. That was the idea to tell the story, and the story. It's not my story, and I don't I'm
so
sure it's
not a
not your
neighbor,
story,
somebody
but
else's
it's
neighbor
somebody's
story.
story. You know, for sure it's somebody's story.
Of course, absolutely. No, amazing. No, that's great. You know, too bad that these songs need to, when you think about it, it's nice, if it can get a little bit more push as well too, to be,
Well, you know how
transparent
this
in
thing go.
front.
You
Yeah,
gotta know
yeah,
somebody
yeah.
who knows somebody who knows somebody. I have
Mhm,
known musician, and you have known some musician
mhm,
out there. You have interviewed some
mhm,
musician. You have met them in person, and you know personally they are good musician, and they're just stuck right there.
mhm.
And these guys them have good song. I mean, I would say better song than make it out there, quote unquote. I'm not calling nobody name, but you
Mhm.
know some musician. Personally, I'm sure musician have great song and it just stuck right there.
Of course, no, yes, for sure. I'm aware of all of that, and that's one of the reason I was saying that it is so important for especially in a song like these, and as you mentioned, I know many musicians, singers, all of that, who are extremely talented. It's just that they didn't get, like the break and the support that they truly deserve. There's no question about that, right? But that's the reality that we live in here for sure, which is kind of sad for sure. So now that you have given us a little bit of an idea that you have something coming up, or at least you're working on something
Yeah, I'm working
in
on something, and
terms of music.
uh, I'm actually helping Shalita Kamraj too. She's working on 2 tracks, and that's gonna release pretty soon.
That's
So
awesome. No.
and that is where I am at this time with music, and I do have a reggae song that I probably gonna do after I finish this project here, when I got some time more later this year. I'm planning, if all goes well, with this project in Guyana, I probably gonna take a shot more at the Chutney competition this coming year, just for the fun of it.
That's for the fun of it.
Yeah,
Okay, so
one more shot of it.
speaking of that, folks might not notice, but you did enter that competition quite
Yeah,
a
I
few
did it
years
twice.
ago.
Yeah,
Oh,
twice.
twice. I wasn't aware of the
Yeah,
second
I
one.
did it.
So tell
I
us
went
about that.
twice.
Let's talk about that. Tell us
it,
about the
it,
first one.
it was a good experience, man. I enjoyed the first one. The first time when I went, I enjoyed a lot better than the second, because the first time a couple of my friends them went with me, to the
Hmm.
competition. One of my friends get to play keyboards for me, and the other friend, he was there helping me through the way. And the greatest moment I had in in the competition that year, that was 2016, was when I did my suicide prevention song.
Hmm.
um and when I finished singing on the stage, as I'm leaving the stage, I heard some voices say, you nail them, man, you nail them." That was the greatest moment I ever had in at the Chatney competition. And I heard it from a musician who actually was a band member for the band that was playing on stage. And that was but unfortunately I didn't win it, but that's okay. somebody had to win. Somebody have to, come second, and
Yeah. So, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the competitions, because you enter more than one, I believe you've placed though, right? You've made a place kind of thing.
Yeah,
No?
I think that year I believe that I got fourth or in that one, the same one I went to. Back then they didn't. They was only go up to fourth, second, and third.
Oh, at that time. Oh, I see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, now they go up to fourth,
fourth.
like in
Yeah,
terms
I
of
think it was
making a
seven
selection.
people. They place you according to the points. I didn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
follow up on it because I just leave that night. I had to take a flight back over here, but yeah, it was fun though, man. It was fun. I mean, if I have to give an advice to artists, no matter how big or small artists of you are, give it a try. You'll enjoy yourself. The people around you, the surrounded, of course, it does cost a little bit of money. Um,
Yeah.
I,
And it's
I,
hard. And speaking of that, as money is one thing, but not everybody can embrace, that embrace not winning, for example, right?
yeah,
Because as you mentioned, not everybody will win these things, and I think if people learn and kind of understand that not all of us will be successful at our very first try, it makes it a lot easier, right? Um, but I mean, we can have a whole show about this thing, because I have some knowledge with this as well too. Because ideally, um, when it comes to the judges are not supposed to have any relationship with any participant. So the way it works, let's say I'm one of the judges, and I know Satish, automatically I'm disqualified to be a judge. That's how it's supposed to be. People are supposed to take ethics training to make sure that they're not going to judge you in terms of giving you more points just because they know you have a relationship. Those are the kind of ethical practices they are supposed to put in place. Not saying that it didn't happen there, but not uncommon for people to do their own thing. Let me put it that way, right?
yes, yes.
So
A judge should be a totally someone who arrived there and like, oh, that's your name. Oh, like you're
yeah,
saying, totally stranger.
absolutely, 100% for sure. And so, that's the reality of it. That's how it's supposed to be. So they're not supposed to no like have any kind of favorite. They're not supposed to favor one person over the other, things of that sort. You're basically supposed to have like neutral people, like maybe come from a different country to begin with, and say, look, it doesn't matter
Yes.
to me if Satish win or somebody else wins, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be that way, kind of thing, for sure. But it's hard for them to get to that level, because this is a serious thing. In fact, I was one of the judges to select recipients for the highest honor in Waterloo, the highest civic honor. And they were doing some jiggly business as well too. Let me use that word for the sake of it, because I know organic people will kind of understand it. And I had to speak up and so forth. And for that year, the two people that they wanted to select for the recipient did not were not selected, because I was there watching, because I didn't support that. I couldn't, because I was going by criteria, right? You're not going to choose John or Tom because you know John or he has a big name. But interestingly enough, I was not invited to be one of the judges for the following year. And guess what? Those two people weren't chosen. That didn't that weren't chosen, got selected the year that I was not there. So all kind of things happen everywhere, and we have to continuously, try ways to close the gap, though, because it can cause a lot of problems. Like we see. I mean, we live in a digital world now, right? So
Yep.
people see of all the things that's happening, just like the election in Ghana, right? When they had the most recent election, um, you know, they not most recent, but the one prior, like we see firsthand how people are trying to do their own thing. You know what
Yep.
I mean?
Well, I come up with my personal name for that. I call it the Joker Poker. That's my name.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. So I'm not sure if you're seeing John from Queens has like a comment or a question. Can you say, I'm going to read it so that way you can kind of focus on the question. But before I
Okay.
do that, I want to acknowledge Dolly. Thank you so much,
Pick up
for
yourself,
taking
Dolly.
us with me, and we appreciate the comment as well too. I want to give a special hello to Ken Ramprasad, who we have met here very recently. Thank you so much, sir. Shiv Gobin, I'm assuming that's that's
You
one of
got
your
Gobin.
supporters,
Gobin, big up yourself,
somebody
brother. About yourself, yeah.
or somebody you know. I could
Yeah, you
tell, like
met him. You met him.
when
You
I
met him, Narine.
recognize. So I met Shiv Gobin when at the event we've had.
Yes, the charity event. That's true.
Okay, so my apologies there. Okay, nice. Well, thanks for taking a sneak peek, and so nice that he's here. He's here, but obviously he's supporting you, which is great. So this is what John from Queens. I'm going to read it here. So this is the first I'm reading it here. So John is saying serious question to ask you, Satish. So this is what he's saying. In your opinion, how come most of the artists I made very popular? You don't have to answer, but this is what he's asking.
Yeah.
How come most of the artists I made very popular around 2014 did not appreciate the fame and ease of my YouTube channel? So basically, what he's saying, he's asking, he's wanting your opinion as to why folks fall apart. You don't have to respond to that, but you have also mentioned something similar. Usually, when
Yes.
people
Yes,
get to a different level,
John.
they disappear. Or you can
First,
respond too. Go ahead.
John, I have to big up John. Every time I ask John to do something for me from 2008, and if I do tomorrow, he will do it for me. I went by his house. John always show up at events, supporting every single artist that go his way. And yes, he's right. You know why, John? Because they had needed help at that time. Like my grandfather would say, when a nobody turn somebody, then a know nobody. So that's exactly what happened. This nobody turned somebody, so them not know where them come from. But I'm sure deep down in their heart, they know what you did for them. God bless you, brother.
Absolutely, for sure. So what we'll do, we'll feature another piece of your song. We'll kind of talk to you again, and then we'll take it from there. How about that? I kind of select another random one. See here. Yeah, so nothing's happening here. So let me just see if not, I cannot. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we'll have to kind of pause that there. You can hear me, though, right? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you clear.
Oh yeah, you hear me. For some reason, I don't want to take chance playing it because I'm not hearing it. So we don't want to play something and then people cannot hear us. That can be a problem. The good news is that we have had the opportunity to feature a few songs of yours and all of that. So when you're not writing songs, it looks like you've wrote a lot of songs over the years, which is excellent. When you're not writing songs and things of that sort, doing anything musically, when you're not riding horses or doing anything along that line, when you're not thinking about your projects in line and so forth, what are some of the things you do for Satish to make sure that Satish continuously build energy and kind of, take time for himself and all of that? Because that's important in life as well
I
too.
go fishing sometimes, and I spend a lot of time when it comes to horses at the moment. However, the horse that I invest in a couple of weeks ago, we're hoping it's not, but it looks like we're going down that road that's his last race. He did all right. He ran, I think, 12 races. He ran 3 first, 3 second, 2 third, and a fourth. But his racing career is very short. So I'm spending a lot of time now trying to find another horse at the moment. Yeah.
And that's here in the States?
That's yes, right here in the state.
Oh wow. So you're big in it then. I usually see little things here and there, but I kind of I thought to myself, that seems to be here, not Guyana.
Yeah, I the first horse I invested in Star 69, he didn't make it to the racetrack. He had an illness, and the vet request for we put him down, but he had an insurance, so it wasn't a complete loss on him.
Mhm.
And then the second one I invested it, he ran 3 races and he had an issue too. And then this one here I have now. But like I said, what is for you, you're going to get. Hear this little story here. I'm sure someone will enjoy hearing this little piece of story. This last horse I invested in here in the US, the company sent me 2 horses to invest in. And I had a choice to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up pick this one. And the other one that I didn't pick went to Dubai and today he earned 9 million US.
No.
Yes.
Oh wow! And you had the choice.
I
You had
just
the
picked-
choice to take that one.
In
You
my
just
way, I
picked-
would say I picked
Yeah,
the
yeah.
wrong horse, but I did not pick the wrong horse. That was my choice.
Yeah, yeah.
I
You made the right decision at the time, at the moment, right? You were very pleased and happy with the decision you made at the moment, and that's all that matters.
and
Right.
nobody family have to. You have to come from a family of being great to become great, or being a musician to become a musician. Because the horse I picked, his father was a great horse, and the one that I didn't pick did not come from a family background where it shows me that he would go to Dubai and win big major stakes race, win the Preakness, win $9 million. So you don't have to come from a family of knowledge to be educated. You don't have to come from a musician family to be a musician.
So hold on, you're saying that the horse that won the race elsewhere,
The horse that earned the $9 million.
like didn't come from like a family with any sort of that
Yes.
background.
Yes, it
Oh.
didn't, and that's why I didn't pick him, because the other one I
Yeah.
studied. I saw his
Yeah.
father run in
You did the research,
2003
yeah.
in New
You
York.
did the research, yeah.
Yes, his father won in front of my eyes, and I said, well, the son will take the step of the father, but it didn't work out.
Oh, yeah. So listen to this. Look at Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't have any political background, and he's the
Guy's an accountant.
right. So yeah, think about that. And also here, our prime minister here, he never held a seat, in parliament or anything of that kind. He never had to campaign and knock doors like I did, and things of that sort. And right. So sometimes people get in and kind of like that horse, just happen. But at the end of the day, it was not meant for you, and you will have to accept that. And it looks like you already said, look, I've made the right decision. I did my research, and that's what I did. But thank you for sharing that story. Really good story. And just like the singing thing too, right? And people don't necessarily come from a musical background or a singing background, and they're doing their thing too, right? Yep. Yeah, that's awesome. So let me say hello to a few more people. We'll kind of take it from there. This is a different Dolly here. Dolly Kumar DeLuca. Thank you so much. She was at that show, obviously a show that you did.
Yes, she was.
And she came out with a new song as well too. I want to mention that they are nicely done, by the way. Good job there. We'll feature it at some point. And Bobby, thank you so much, Bobby, for taking us a sneak peek, and thank you for being engaged, very engaging with this stuff, and with our initiative as well too. I recognize the name so well, because you're always engaging with what we do, which is great. Everybody has their own set of followers and supporters and so forth, but I always believe quality over quantity. So our folks, they are very knowledgeable people. And that's what makes the difference as well too. So I think that's something I can say with confidence. Yeah. And so Satish, I'm kind of leaving it open now for you to kind of add or share any last minute thing you want to share. I have to be mindful and respectful that you have lots on the go as well too. I mean, it's long weekend, as it's Easter weekend. But speaking of that, we should also acknowledge that it is Easter weekend. Happy Easter, by the way, to everybody who's watching.
Happy Each and every one of you.
Definitely.
Hope you guys enjoying yourself.
For sure. I mean, I can imagine the folks in Ghana having a ball there. and
Yep,
tomorrow is
like
a
back in
real
the days.
day. Yeah, tomorrow is a
Yep.
real day in terms of the real celebration. Today, a lot of
63
folks will
Beach,
go to the
63
churches.
Beach. Your
Oh,
backyard,
yes.
your backyard,
Yeah, that's right. I used to live right by the Secretary Beach for
your
folks who
backyard.
don't know. Definitely. And so it used to be a very busy time for us in terms of business because we had a very like we had like a shop there kind of thing. And so people would stop by to get everything to drink and all of these types of things. But yes, we want to acknowledge that. And so it's kind of nice that folks are still taking the time and pausing to kind of tune into us. If you were in Guyana, by the way, Satish, what you would have been doing right now? Let's say you were there, like at this very like weekend here, like
Rewind
uh,
from my last Easter in Guyana. We went 63 Beach, and I drink Banco. So I guess
oh,
we I drink Banco wine, and we were by 63 Beach, and my kite hooked with somebody else kite, and we started to argue, and then a older person come and say, we can fix this, and he helped them kites. That was a big thing in Guyana when you kite come close to my kite.
and that was recently, or you mean like back in the
No,
days?
this was before I leave.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So I
Okay,
guess I will probably be
okay.
doing something similar to that. Go to the beach.
Yeah.
Pack up
You know, I
everything.
yeah, that oh for sure. Thanks for sharing that. I put a post earlier today and I kind of share folks what I've done as a child growing up in Ghana. So actually, my friends and I we came together and we made a like a box kite, like huge box kite. It was the biggest box kite like
Yeah.
at that during those times, and we kind of wrote different messages, and whatnot. And one of the messages was. Don't drink and drive, and one was like say
Nice,
no to
nice.
drugs, and all of those types of things, just to send this message.
Yeah, nice.
And we tested that kite the day before Easter. And that thing was perfect, and it like we had such a ball, but on the day of Easter it did not go up at all. Because sometimes there's no wind,
Yeah.
sometimes it's
So
just
did
like
you
just
did
very
you guys get
very
them
flat.
up the first time?
Oh, like the day before that thing, like people were just following and watching me. It was something different and huge, right? And whatnot. And it went up like with no issue. But the day of, when we actually went to the beach for the Easter Monday, it didn't go up properly because not only us, like a lot of people had that issue because of like technically there was no wind, and because ours was kind of bigger and heavier, we really
Yeah.
had a hard time to kind of think up there. But yes, those times are different times, right? But it's interesting, and the message I was trying to say in my post though is that even though I was a young person, like we were just children, like I was thinking along the line, say no to drugs and so forth. But the message I was trying to give is that coincidentally, I worked in leadership in a men's residential addiction treatment center where I've seen guys become so addicted to drugs to a point where they lost their family and children and all of that. But for me, it was a privilege in its own way because when I sat with them and I was having a conversation, when they shared their story, for me, it was such a privilege to understand their side of things because they said to me, Narayan, look, this is not the kind of life I want to live, kind of thing. But it is an addiction. I don't have the control and things of that sort. But it's amazing. I was trying to connect the dots all of these years, right? Preventative measure, right? Kind of thing. Yes, that's awesome. Yeah. So, any last minute thing you would like to say? I want you to know, like, I appreciate you joining. I'm glad that we finally managed to kind of make it, and I think it's nice to have these kinds of opportunity where you kind of have your say. It's kind of like a therapy as well too. You kind of said a
Yeah.
few things, you get a few things off your chest in different kind of in a
Yeah.
professional
True,
way
true,
kind of thing. I
true,
think it's
true.
important. And even though you might not realize it and recognize it now, the fact that I highlight some of those songs, it is very different than the other songs that we're accustomed to listen to, right? Because it has you're your own self. There's only one Satish, or you're not comparing yourself with other people. Your music, first of all, as I understand it, they're your own lyrics, if I understand it correct, or at least for the
True,
most
true,
part, kind of thing. So I
true.
think that's something we want to acknowledge. And at the end of the day, it had some real life true stories in it. And I think if people reflect accordingly, people can relate to it because it is so true, right?
Yes, and
And
that's
and
that's
so
my
yeah.
intention when I'm writing it. Sorry I cut you, but that's the
No,
whole
no, yeah.
idea of writing the
Mhm.
song, to make sure I write a story.
Yes, and that's the thing. You want to make sure you continuously be you, and that those are the things that sets us apart, right? You do not want to do the same thing what other people are doing, or don't, or do any sort of shortcuts and so forth, which is awesome. Yeah. So, any last minute thing you'd like to say? If not, we will wrap it up. I want to be mindful that
Well,
we
I
probably
just want to
want
say
to.
thanks to all the viewer who comment. If we didn't get to your name,
Mhm.
we want to. I want to say thanks. I'm sure Narine appreciate that you guys comment and
Absolutely.
log in and view our chit chat today. And for those who
It's not the
want,
chit.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, no, sorry. No, sorry. No. I made a mistake there. You go ahead.
yeah,
You can use that word. You're not referring to this show. Yeah, we are
yes,
chit-chatting
and
here.
and and for who those who wants to listen to more of my song,
Yeah.
you can go on YouTube. They're all there, and be humble. Just keep follow your dreams. I always say, if you wait too long, this thing you call dreams, they move on. Y'all have
Absolutely.
a good Easter and good night.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll touch a bit. So, my dear fellow listeners and viewers, as we are officially approaching the end of tonight's program, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for tuning in to the Dr. Narine Dat Show. On behalf of myself and our guest Satish, both of us would like to join together and wish you a great today and even a better tomorrow. We'll see you again next time. Have a good one.